Hello everybody, welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today we are taking a look at a brand new acid bass synthesizer, DOTEC-AUDIO's DeeACID. Now, this has some very interesting little tricks up its sleeve. So initially you just hit this run stop and it will generate a sequence for you. You don't need to program it, but in fact you can't actually program the sequence, right? But bear with me because you can do loads of other cool stuff. You can choose the key, but you cannot choose the scale. All right, so maybe in the future they could add scaling, but anyway, that none of it really matters, right? And you'll find out why. So to get it to start, we just press start. Notice we don't have the transport running. Now if I press transport, when I first loaded this up, I expected this to play, but it doesn't. I see I've got my metronome on. It doesn't play. Okay, so. Right? But it has this very cool graphic going on. This is important, right? This is actually one of the genius things because although it will generate a sequence for you, you can also just play it via your MIDI keyboard, which is very, very cool, which just turns this into an acid-based synth. Okay, so look, you've got all your basic controls, your output, your resonance, which of course is envelope modulation, okay, release, accents, and then detune sub-oscillator, drive, and then this cool kind of, which is like the distortion. So I'm playing this all with my MIDI keyboard, which means I can just program in a bass line. So for example, make sure I'm back at the beginning. If I just hit res, give myself my 2-bar counting. And now if we stop it here and go and have a look what's occurred. I didn't have my loop turned on, so let's switch loop on. And now I've got my cool acid bass line. And if I turn on my delay, which in this case is comeback kid from Baby Audio, and again I can now just go in and perform. And that's key, which is brilliant because it won't start automatically. Now, at first I thought, well, that's weird. Why doesn't it start automatically? I'd like it to start automatically. I have to kind of have this running. But no, you don't, because you don't want it running if you've programmed a bass line. Now, like, what other cool stuff can it do? Well, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that MIDI we've recorded in. Although this is not a MIDI effect, and you won't record in the MIDI that it plays, you can export your MIDI and then drop it back into anything you like, which is very, very cool. So for example, let's just regenerate a patch until we find one we like. So let's press run stop. Let's get rid of the delay on that because it's a bit much. Okay, I'm going to turn slide and accent off because that will automatically generate slides, accents or rests for you. Let's change the key to say D. And it generates a new pattern for us in D. So we could turn accent on, and it'll generate one in with accents, rest and slides. Generate one in a key of F. Now, let's go all the way around. Well, so say for instance let's take the slide. No, let's leave it on. Okay. Now you notice the little graphic doesn't run unless the transport is running, and if the transport is running, then your little graphic runs, which is really good fun, but does nothing. It's purely aesthetic, of course. Now, say for example, you really like this. Hit save it. And it brings up the file. Now, it is stored on your iCloud drive. And I've already just created a folder called DeeACID so I can go to my iCloud drive and find it quickly. And you see, I've already got 2 MIDI files. So let's just save this one. And it's saved it into the files. And if I now go to my media bay and I'm on MIDI and I go to my MIDI files, here's one I imported earlier. But I'm going to import that one I've just done. I'm going to import from files. And it's going to go to the last file place I was using, which was this DeeACID folder. And there's the one we've just done, right? So I'm just going to select this and open. Now, you can import tons of MIDI files. So you might have ACID baseline files from all over the place. You know, you might have made a load yourself. You can export them. Let's just hit open on this one. And it's going to put it into our media bay. And I can go to my MIDI files again, which I'm already there. And there it is. So if I now just basically take this MIDI, I'll drop it onto this piano first, and then I'll also drop it onto this as well. So you'll see it's the same. So let's mute the piano and let's extend this over 4 bars like that. Super simples. And if we press play now, sorry, I'm not sure. No, wait a minute. I don't know why it's changed my synth out. Let's do this. Probably something I've just done. Let me just change this back now to DeeACID and go back to audio units. I can find it. It'll be quite close. There it is. I'll hit this, load it in there like that. And now you'll notice that this isn't running. So we can play around with this, of course. But also, you could have put another synth in or something. In this case, it's just the piano. So you see, it's very cool. Now, also, I could then switch on our Comeback Kid. Yeah, it's great. It's really good. The fact that it's a synth as well is really fun. So things I would like to see, obviously, the inclusion of scales. If you want to generate your own stuff, let's get rid of this MIDI here. Let's mute this acoustic piano. I don't want it. I'll just select these MIDI tracks and erase them. Get back to DeeACID. Now I've checked this in AUM, it works perfectly. Of course, it's AUv3, so it's tempo locked. Whatever your DAW tempo is set to, let's put this up to something more acidy, shall we? Say 142, and then we'll go back to the synth. But yeah, so at first I didn't think it was that great. I thought, well, it's just kind of water. But the fact that you can use any MIDI file you like, of course, record your own MIDI in, is very cool. Let's have a look at, come back in a minute. And you've got yourself a really great bass synth. And of course now we can just keep generating. So it's $9.99 on the App Store, which is about average these days. Does MIDI learn, of course. It's got a cool graphic. You hit learn and it'll stay on for about 5 seconds. And then got a couple of seconds and go off while you tweak a control, you know. Excellent. And detune it. Change the waveform. Double tap to reset. I mean, this is a really good way to find the sound if you want to then record it in record your own sequence. It does squelch. Guys, there you go. DOTEC-AUDIO's DeeACID. Actually, the more I played with it, the more I was impressed. I thought it was quite good. Its redeeming feature, of course, is that I can just play it as a really cool acid synth, you know? Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. Oh, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, you know, subscribe and all that. See you later.